with Mr. Stokeley Marshall. Today, the Morning Watch is brought to you by the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, achieving prosperity through partnership, economic growth, and sustainable development. And we also have Bashko, the store that gives you more.
Through its agencies, the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation is committed to ensuring all Jamaicans have access to safe, potable water.
In 2022 alone, the NWC has laid a number of new pipes, benefiting over 200,000 Jamaicans.
This year, the government is investing over 7 billion Jamaican dollars into the infrastructure of the National Water Commission through pipelaying and increased storage capacity.
Providing you with water is our mission.
Christmas a come go down a Bashko. 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 We go down to Bashko. Put a light on Christmas tree. Give smart and family. Pop some confidence up on Christmas Day. So we get decorations go down a Bashko. Matching sheet and curtains go down a Bashko. Something for everyone go down a Bashko. Christmas a come go down a Bashko.
Listeners to Love 101 FM are advised that the views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Love 101 FM.
Hello and welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org. And if you are overseas and on the move, U.S. listeners can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you are in the UK, 0330-332-6541, or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us on Love 101 FM Facebook and YouTube Live. In the first watch today, eating healthy this Christmas. In the second watch, rise, enabling opportunities for persons with disabilities. For our social media question, we ask, what is your Eat Right this Christmas strategy? Share your responses on our Love 101 FM Facebook page and YouTube channel, and also on WhatsApp, 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your responses later on in the program, but first, here's I Quote.
All right, good morning, good morning. Today's I Quote is from Dr. Tony Evans. Success is what you have done compared to what you were supposed to do. And that is from Dr. Tony Evans.
I understand the part about what you have done.
Mm-hmm.
But the part I'm thinking about
is what you were supposed to do.
Were you really supposed to have done some of the things that you became successful having done?
That's a very interesting question.
One requires...
Well, we have to call Dr. Tony Evans.
We have to go...
Yes, see what he say.
Bring him on the Morning Watch.
Yes, see what he means.
That ought... I'm just joking. Thank you, Jakal. The first watch will be back after this break.
Come on now, ping pong chairs, they're so amazing, they're so good. Feed your craving, chocolate rich, you'll be craving more and more and more and more. Here comes the craze. Ping pong chairs, so good. Feed your cravings, you know you want to. Here comes the craze. This chocolate has got you, real chocolate flavor. Charles chocolate, here comes the craze.
Christmas is togetherness. Flow is giving you their best. Christmas is special savings. That's just what Flow is bringing. Christmas is the joy of giving. Flow has just what you've been wishing. Flow is a celebration. Free phone and earbuds for you.
Get a free Samsung phone and earbuds when you sign up for Flow Yard and Road for only $4,999 plus GCT.
Flow makes Christmas bright and blue because it's all inspired by
Visit the Flow store to sign up today. Conditions apply.
You're an asthmatic and you start wheezing at 2 a.m. What do? Does this sound familiar? It's time to get a portable nebulizer from Jamaica Hospital Supplies. Our nebulizers provide hospital quality treatment at home. Visit our showroom at 66.5 Halfway Tree Road to see the wide range we have available. All units come with manufacturer's warranty, or call us at 929-2850. It's time to breathe easy.
Christmas a come go down a Bashko. 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 We go down to Bashko, down to light up Christmas tree. It's smart of family, but sometimes sitting up on Christmas Day. So we get decorations go down a Bashko. Matching sheet and curtains go down a Bashko. Something for everyone go down a Bashko. Christmas a come go down a Bashko.
Friends and family.
No matter where you are, there's something about the holiday season that always pulls you home. To be with the people you love and care about.
This holiday season, let Sagicor Bank help you make that home your own with a special mortgage offer that gives you a $2 million line of credit you could use to go solar and make your home eco-friendly. Put down your roots this Christmas with an affordable mortgage from Sagicor Bank. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. More than any other, this is a time of the year when indulgence abounds, especially with food. There might be the gifts of food, free samples, or just treating yourself. It's easy to get caught up in celebratory events and lose track of the regular balanced meals and other healthy eating habits. Why do we make wrong eating choices? Our guests today are Alex Johnson, nutritionist, dietitian, Corner Jamaica, and Dr. Leakim Simaj, chief ideator, Above or Beyond, transformation psychologist. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, getting right into the discussion. Why do we get caught up in the season and make wrong dietary choices? I'm going to start with the psychologist, Dr. Simaj. Why do we do this?
Well, a couple of things. There's history. Remember that Christmas was one of the only time that as slaves, we got a little something extra. We got something special.
No, Dr. Simaj, I wasn't among them. You said we.
Well, you know, the whole psychobiology, you know, the whole sociobiology, things that are embedded in your history.
Not mine, sir, but go ahead.
Well, it becomes coded. You know, there's so many Jamaican expressions. Better belly bust than good bickle waist.
Yes.
Where freeness exists, it is folly to resist.
Yes.
You know, and so we have this temptation. Look, anything you keep it in Jamaica, once you advertise, you have free food. People go and come, right? So that it is something that we've been doing for a long time. So the tendency isn't. I have seen so many bad things that have happened. On one level, companies, when companies have Christmas party, I've heard that people will lose their job the next day.
Really?
The way they carried on for the food.
Oh.
When they go to collect the food, I mean, they pile the plate all the way up and they take 2 bottles of beer, one in each back pocket and so on. You know, so the behavior goes totally AWAC. I've even seen the one prominent journalist, which is now passed. There was this Christmas, and I think we should include drink in it too. Because when free liquor, this particular gentleman, he was so out of it. I mean, I was asked to take him home because they knew that he and I lived in the same general area. I had no idea where he lived as such, but I was able to at least call us, get some direction, and then get him home. But he was as drunk as a fish, if you understand what I mean. So the tendency is there because of this, once the way we approach free food and free liquor, so we have to approach it with a strategy if we are to avoid it. So we can come back to the strategies.
Thank you for that, Dr. Simaj. Alex
Good
Johnson,
morning.
nutritionist. Why do we get caught up in the season and make wrong dietary choices? And maybe you can also comment on the types of dietary choices we should not be making in what people call the festive season. Go ahead, Mr. Johnson.
Yes, good morning. You're hearing?
We are hearing you. You sound a little bit low sometimes, but we are hearing you.
All right. I hope I'm clearer. So, we have a challenge with the Christmas season, and Dr. Samaj just hit the nail on the head. Psychologically, there is this extra greed. Everybody is getting all excited, and the whole festivity of the season. So, for example, our usual intake for
Could I
general.
ask you to pause one moment, Alex Johnson? Could you position yourself in such a way where you sound consistently loud enough so that we can all hear you all the time? Sometimes your volume goes up and then it goes back down.
Okay, I'm using this platform. Am I clearer?
Slightly.
Okay.
Let's
So
try. Go ahead.
yes, so the intake is usually for women. We usually recommend 2,000 kilocalories, and the calories is the amount of energy that the food gives us. And for men, usually 2,500, and this is generally healthy men and women. But during
Translate
Christmas,
kilocalories, if that's the term you use. Translate that word and that measurement into servings. How many servings of X or how many servings of Y, if
so
you can.
the distribution varies. So in a normal day, we usually have sometime 8 to 10 servings of staples, which we know for Jamaicans, that is our carbohydrate. And then we'll have sometime 6 to 8 servings of meat, food from animals. So, our eggs or fish or chicken or beef or mutton. And then we have our servings of fruits and we have our servings of vegetables. But in Christmas time, sometimes these double. So we have persons eating 4 different types of meat kind, and these are maybe at 2 or 3 servings because they are having their chicken, they are having their ham, their beef, and we have some Jamaicans who are taking on the turkey, and we have all sorts of meat kinds that are on the buffet line, if we may call it. And then we go to our staples. So we are not just having rice and gungo peas, but we are now having potato salad, macaroni and cheese. And all of these staples are being added to the meat kind. And sometimes God bless their little vegetable that we catch onto the plate, if there's any vegetable at all. So, we have our overindulgence. And then we have our Christmas cake, which is generally a sweet treat. But we're not having a small portion. We're having a large chunk of the cake. And don't forget the non-alcoholic wine. Bless the Lord for the saints who don't want to drink the alcoholic, but they want to sip the non-alcoholic, the sparkling wine. That also has a high sugar content. So we see when the diabetics come out of the Christmas season, they come back to the clinics with very high blood sugars, and the renal patients come back with their kidney function haywire. The hypertensives come back with their blood pressures through the roof. So, it's just a season where persons drop their diets, drop eating healthy, who used to follow a specific route, changes, and now just gets crazy because it's Christmas.
We're almost upon a break, but Alex Johnson, what about the idea? Well, you can just have a little bit of this, a little bit more of that, because it's Christmas. I mean, any comments on that, sir?
Nothing is wrong with that, but everything must be done in moderation. We cannot have this whack of food, because what will happen is that, yes, it is just for a day or two, but for persons with chronic conditions, a day or two is a lot for them.
Hold that thought, Alex Johnson, because a day or two is a lot for them. We are now upon a break. Listeners, please stay with us. Very interesting. We'll be right back on the Morning Watch.
Time is now 7:15 a.m.
Remember every dream where you have, remember everything where you plan. With J and Bank, anything possible. With a little savings in your hand. Save so you can build the house, buy the land. You have goals and dreams in a plan. Save so you can start the business, get a car. Block the trip, you want to save so you can.
Living your best life and making memories is priceless. But saving little by little is what makes it affordable. Stop wishing you could. With your Jane Bank savings, you absolutely can.
Save so you can build the house, buy the land. You have goals and dreams like a plan. Save so you can make the part, travel part. Got me like a star. Save so you can.
Jane Bank will help you find a way.
JPS say you fit stay current. That's right. Update your cell phone number and email address with JPS and stay in the know on important details like account and system upgrades, emergency and maintenance notifications, usage and promotional info, and so much more. Use the My JPS mobile app, DM them online, or call to update your info today. And whatever you do, stay current. JPS takes the security of your data very seriously. Visit the JPS website at www.jpsco.com for more information. JPS, powering what matters.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life-changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust, committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
Government pensioners, the Accountant General's Department Mobile Life Certificate Drive is coming to your parish. We'll be in St. Mary on December 1. On December 2, we'll be in Portmore. December 4 in St. Elizabeth. On December 5 in Hanover. And December 6, Westmoreland. Trelawney pensioners, the AGD will see you on December 7. St. Anne on December 8, we're coming to you. We'll be in Spanish Town on December 9. Portland on December 11. Clarendon on December 12. Manchester on December 13. And we'll make our final stop in St. Thomas on December 14. Remember, life certificates can be submitted at the St. James Parish Library and the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service using the electronic drop box. For more information, visit our website at treasury.gov.jm.
In a world that never stops moving, your money shouldn't either. With Visa, you can receive your remittances directly to your account using your Visa debit card number.
Here's the cost, miss.
Looks like I will need a little extra. Hey, Uncle T, can you send some extra money by tomorrow using Visa debit card? Thanks, Uncle T. Say hi to everybody for me.
Visa. Fast, simple, and secure.
From generation to generation, Jamaicans have depended on Jane Bank to make the pride and joy of providing a safe place for their families possible. Now, with no processing fees and no down payment mortgage options, you can open the door to your own sweet home, a legacy to hand to your next generation. Visit jnbank.com to get pre-approved today. JN Bank will help you find a way.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. We are in the first watch. The topic is eating healthy this Christmas. Our guests are Alex Johnson, nutritionist, dietitian, Corner, Jamaica, and Dr. Leakim Semaj, chief ideator, Above or Beyond, transformation psychologist. Just before the break, Alex Johnson, you made an interesting comment in relation to, yes, it's one thing to say you're going to have a little bit of extra this or extra that at Christmas, but I think what you're trying to say, in essence, it could last a lifetime. It could end up being a lifetime of worries. So, Dr. Semaj, sir, in terms of eating more healthily this Christmas, from a psychological standpoint, sir, how does one address the concerns in relation to some persons? Some persons may have some food addiction. Some persons may want to eat more at Christmas time. or even generally because it makes them feel good. People talk about feel good foods sometimes, and some of those foods are served at Christmas, a lot of it.
Oh, yes.
And then you have those who eat to overcome various negative feelings. In this Christmas season, what advice, if any, or what thoughts can you share, if any?
Okay,
in that regard?
one start with a strategy. Okay, there really want 2 or 3 strategies. One is a form of intermittent fasting. You know you're going to a dinner, skip lunch. You're going to a lunch, skip breakfast. So at least you'll have created some space. You can't put on extra at both ends. So it's a form of intermittent fasting.
Yes.
So 1, 2, when you go to the meal, go with a strategy.
Okay.
Either to survey and get a little taste of everything, or just focus on exactly what you like. For example, there's some things that you really like, and you don't really get enough of it during the course of the year, but they have it. I'm just going to have that one thing,
Okay.
right? And then you can easily bypass the carbs, because that's the stuff that probably does the most damage.
Yes.
Putting on there's too much rice and peas, and you pile it up and pile it up, but so that between those 2 things, the 2 first ones, intermittent fasting, make room up front, or decide that you're going to just survey. I'll just take a taste of this, a taste of that, a taste of that, or I'm just going to have one thing or 2 things on my plate. Without that strategy, take more, man, take some more, man, get some. You get caught up in the moment, and before you know it, your pants, can't buckle.
Mr. Johnson, your thoughts?
Yes, so I created some tips when I was given this, topic. So I said, let me just give these tips to our listeners. And the first tip is eat close to your usual times. For our diabetics, especially, to keep your blood sugar steady. Because as Dr. Simaj said, you know that you're going to be going to a dinner. You know that you eat a certain time, usually. Let us try to maintain our meal times so that we have a steady blood sugar for our diabetics throughout this time. Generally, have a small plate. The bigger the plate is, the more food it will hold. So outsmart the buffet. Bring a smaller plate where you're still able to pick and choose your favorite meals, but you end up taking less. You can always also start with vegetables to take the edge off your appetite. So if you start with your starchy vegetables or your free vegetables, you will be a little more full by the time you reach to your your entree. So it's very important, start with your vegetables and eat slowly. Mighty God, some of us were racing because we want to go back to the buffet again. So it's very important. Take time. And the last one, which is very important, Dr. Samad spoke about it earlier. If you are on medication, you're not supposed to be drinking alcohol, none at all. And with the new revised World Health Organization recommendations, alcohol has now been prohibited for consumption because of the damages that it has been doing to our body. So if you have an alcoholic drink with food, just remember that alcohol can lower your blood sugar and it can also interact with your medication for diabetics. So you may be at the table this year and people have to start fan you, and it's not the Holy Spirit on you. Your sugar dropped very low, and now you're having serious challenges. So let us be very wise this season, the tips that I gave you, and just be very careful with, yes, it is food, but we have to remember we want to live to see another Christmas. So let's just take it one step at a time.
One step at a time. And what about, Alex Johnson, just another thing, sir. What about when you get these great food baskets at your office at Christmas time, and they have wine in it and all sorts of other delicacies, and you might get more than one food basket? You might get several, and or maybe you're in some field or work where You have customers who give you these things. So if you're not careful, you have 2, 3, 4, 5 or more of them. And then you have the gifts. And giving a bottle of wine is a very popular gift. Any comments on those, Alex Johnson?
Well, I can speak to the gift time because my birthday and Christmas is in the same period. My birthday is a couple of days away from Christmas. So I know about the piling of the gifts. So
when it comes, sir.
Thank you. So what I usually do, just my personal experience, I put up the wines. There are other exciting times that are going to be coming up.
You put them up for future.
I use one out of the group for my Christmas and my birthday, but put up the rest, the bottles, because remember other events are coming up when we're broke and we can't buy no more wine. We can draw for those fancy bottles when we have guests over and stuff like that. And for the different food items, there are so many ways that we can incorporate. Maybe you get a pack of peanuts. You can add the peanuts in your shakes. For those who go to the gym, you can do your morning protein shakes with your peanuts. Those who get chocolates, you can slowly, I'm not telling you to eat the chocolate every single hour and the hour. But, you can have a bite of your chocolate. You want to have a balance. So you're not going to eat everything over the Christmas period. But you're going to see how best you can incorporate these items from your food basket throughout the time of your Christmas season. And January, people remember January coming when pay time not coming until the end of the month. So we need to, be able to have a sustainable pantry for the rest of January.
Not leaving out Dr. Semaj, but before, any tips, Alex Johnson, in terms of when you go to the supermarket sometimes and they have all these nice free samples. Would you like to taste this? Would you like to taste that? And you find yourself going to every taste table, and it might just pique your appetite to go and purchase the item itself, in a larger form. And it might be something that is not very healthy for you at that time. Alex Johnson, any comments there?
Well, you see, with our current financial constraints, people get the opportunity to taste, but when they really look at the prices, they just can't afford it. So that's kind of a deterrent now. But what these merchandisers know what they're doing. So the whole point of you sampling is to go and buy the item. So I would just say to you, create a list when you're going shopping this Christmas. Stick to your list. So you know what you need to cook for your different events, your different this, your different that. Just ensure that you have a shopping list and you stick to it so that you can save your money and still shop with everything on the budget that you have.
Mr. Johnson, a mouthful there. Dr. Semaj, any comments before we wrap? And in commenting, if you could sort of, give a word of advice or wisdom, if you don't want to say advice, a word of wisdom to those who might have various food addictions or they're inclined to eat at Christmas time because they're going to say, sure, we never get to buy this or eat this during the year, so I'm going to do it now. Dr. Semaj.
Well, everything you do has consequences. So you must be prepared to live with the consequences. But on the issue of the gift baskets, I just give them away because 90% of the stuff in it, I usually don't eat at all. And unlike you gentlemen, my Bible tells me that Jesus turned water into wine, not into grape juice. And the evidence I see says that alcohol in moderation is actually good for you. So I don't join that thing about that, you mustn't drink anything at all. But again, in moderation. And before you drink anything, make sure you have food in your stomach. I mean, I went to a dinner one evening, and because it's so late, they kept serving drinks and drinks and drinks. And before the meal, half of the people were drunk because they had no food in their stomach. But eat before you go out. And in fact, my policy for my little boy, you don't go nowhere hungry because you may be tempted to act like a pig. So you just make sure you have something to eat before you go anywhere because they may have something you don't eat.
Interesting. I think we have to leave it there this morning, Dr. Semaj and Mr. Johnson, because we're just about out of time. Thank you so much for your time and for your thoughts. Very interesting discussion. Thank you again. Stay tuned, listeners. The second watch is up next, and the morning watch will return in just a moment.
that little savings in your hand. Save so you can.
The time by Gen Bank is
7:30.
8884 Gas Pro. That's the only number you need to know. 8884 Gas Pro. Safety first, that's for sure. We feel it right. So when you're ready to light, day or night, the blue flame burns bright. So when you time you need cooking gas, call Gas Pro and you get it fast. 8884 Gas Pro. Get attached to the one you know. Gas Pro, the gas professionals.
After the first year, your little one's brain continues to develop rapidly. NAN3 with its advanced formula, specially designed for children from 1 year, keeps their development on track, helps nurture their possibilities with the exclusive combination of optimized protein, HMO, probiotics, and DHA. NAN3, nurturing their possibilities. NAN3 is not a breast milk substitute. It is specially suited to children from 1 year onward.
Christmas a come go down a Bashko. 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 We go down to Bashko, down to a light and Christmas tree. Give smart and family, pop some confidence up on Christmas Day. So we get decorations go down a Bashko, matching sheet and curtains go down a Bashko. Something for everyone go down a Bashko. Christmas a come go down a Bashko.
Yummy bulla full of flavor, pineapple, coconut and ginger. Yeah. Everybody love the yummy old time bulla. Ask them, tell them all around good vibes, full of love style. The bulla well nice, new coconut flavor done right, just like one time. Yummy bulla with pear or bulla with cheese. No butter pop mine. Yummy bulla full of flavor, pineapple, coconut and ginger. Yeah. Everybody love the new coconut bulla. Ask them all around good vibes. Yummy bulla, all around good vibes.
Once upon a time, there's a girl named Kay. She loved to dance and play. One day at school, she got very ill, and Mom was left with an unbearable bill. It would be easier if Mom was prepared. With School Companion, 80% of the bill is cleared. Medical care for children is a must for as low as $2,400 per month. Make unbearable medical bills go away. Sign up for Sagicor School Companion today.
Hello there. Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, JCPD, this year celebrates Disabilities Awareness under the theme Inclusion in Action, Building Accessible Communities from December 3 to 8, 2023. Come and join the celebrations as you play your part to ensure persons with disabilities are included equally and equitably in society. Let's work together to build inclusive communities for all. A message from the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. Let's take a look now at the newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing. And we have here in Loop Jamaica News, outstanding educators rewarded. And there's a photograph here. Minister of Education and Youth Favour Williams presents the LASCO Ministry of Education and Youth Jamaica Teaching Council 2023 Teacher of the Year trophy to St. Andrew High School for Girls chemistry teacher Franklin Burrell during Tuesday's awards ceremony held at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel in New Kingston. Sharing in the presentations, Managing Director at LASCO Distributors Limited, John De Silva. We now turn to the Jamaica Observer. Panton to sleep in jail for Christmas. More charges loom in now $5 billion SSL fraud case. This appears to be 5 billion Jamaican dollars. The story by Jason Cross, Observer staff reporter, and there is reference to a similar item of news in the Gleaner. SSL fraud balloons past, but they gave the US dollar figure, US 30 million. So the Observer makes reference to what appears to be the Jamaican dollar equivalent, whereas the Gleaner refers to past US 30 million dollars. Those and many other stories in our various news sources. Of course, coming up next, we'll read for some of the feedback from our social media question, which is, what is your Eat Right This Christmas strategy? Leave a comment on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, Love 101 FM Jamaica, or WhatsApp 876-997-3125. We'll be right back.
Christmas in the Park is back. Scotiabank's annual celebration, Christmas in the Park, is set for Thursday, December 7 at the Emancipation Park in New Kingston, with performances from outstanding schools, children's groups, and recording gospel artist Kevin Downswell, and so much more. Join Love 101 FM at 6 p.m. as we will be live on location to share all the excitement with you.
Listen for Leading the Way with Dr. Michael Youssef at 8 p.m.
That's Christmas in the Park at 6 p.m. live on the family station, Love 101.
Are you ready for another exciting show inside Alive 1 to 5 this Throwback Thursday, December 7? Well, join me, your host, Sarah and the Chirpy One, for another time to recollect and reconnect. Stay tuned for the brain testing Menticize at 1:45. Then Prayer Blast will be at 2 o'clock as we ring in the prayer bells of heaven. 2:15 Inside Pieces of the Past. We share with you the history of Christmas in Jamaica back then. Then at 3 p.m., join us for our Christmas countdown inside this Take Me Back Thursday. Remember to send us your requests with the correct title and the name of the artist. And listen for your song. All this and more will come alive 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. this Throwback Thursday, December 7 on the family station, Love 101, celebrating 30 years of music, family, and love.
You're invited to join us for the 31st Annual National Prayer Vigil, Justice, Unity, Peace, Healing, under the distinguished patronage of His Excellency, the Most Honorable Sir Patrick Allen, Governor General of Jamaica. Sunday, December 10, 6 p.m., East Queen Street Baptist Church, 25 East Queen Street, live on Love 101 FM, Power of Faith Television, the National Prayer Vigil, Sunday, December 10 at 6 p.m. Come and join us.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. Let's join Chukal for a look at how our Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp friends answer today's question. What is your Eat Right strategy this Christmas? What is your Eat Right this Christmas strategy? Chukal.
All right, so we have some responses here on our WhatsApp line. This person says, let me see if there's a name on here. Desireen C says, good morning. The My Cautious Eating app is out for Christmas. Not sure what that is, but all right, she says the app is out. Cherry from Spanish Town says, the foods that are not good for me, I will not eat. With indulgence comes a health consequence. Be merry, be wise, and be conscious. Edna from Montego Bay sent us a voice message.
Good morning, Morning Watch. Good morning, Love 101 listeners and staff. My eating habit for this Christmas will be definitely moderation. There will be a lot of food. Yes, people get invited out for food and you want to have everything. I look at this and I look at that. Yes, but do it in moderation. Right, because mostly, let your plate be mostly green. Green. Yes, that's the best thing. The nutritious value of the food. Not the work, but the small quantity and nutritious.
All right, that one was from Edna. Thank you so much. And that's the end of our responses. Yes.
I had experimented with veganism at one point in time, Jukal. And
okay.
Yes. And, I was tempted to ask at one point, any tips for persons who do not want to eat meat?
Mm-hmm.
But I left it alone. But when I heard the comment a while ago about your plate should be green, it just reminded me.
Yeah, I mean there are some options that persons who are vegan can try.
Yes,
some other options. I mean, you have tofu, you have cauliflower that can be made into chicken. Well, chicken fat ish. Yeah. So
Well,
good luck to those saints.
We could have a long discussion of veganism because I have issues with some of the things that they say you should have as a vegan or as a vegetarian, depending on which one you are.
Right.
But that could be definitely another discussion. Definitely. But we move right into the second watch. The Enabling Opportunities for Persons with Disabilities Project, EOPD, focused on combating stereotypes, enhancing accessibility, and providing crucial support services for persons with disabilities. This event is particularly timely as it aligns with the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, JCPD, observation of Disabilities Awareness Week 2023, which is from December 3 to 9. December 3 to 9. The theme this year is Inclusion in Action, building accessible communities. So that is this week, in fact, December 3 to 9. To discuss this and related issues, we have with us Nadine Chambers Goss, Executive Director, Rise Life Management, and Sean McGregor, Program Manager, Rise Life Management. Lady and gentlemen, good day. How are you both?
Good morning to you and your listener, Stokeley. I'm well. Thank you much.
And Sean McGregor? Mr. McGregor, are you with us? Are we hearing you, sir? Well, until we have Mr. McGregor, well, he sounds like he's trying to come through or speak. We're hearing you, sir, but you sound like it sounds quite faint. I don't know if there's something that can be done electronically so we can hear you a little bit better, but we are kind of hearing you, but you sound pretty far away, or there's a muffling with the, your device. I'm not sure what it is at the moment. We'll try to see if it's something that we can resolve on our end. But Nadine Chambers Goss, in the interim, tell us about what's happening in terms of this entire project. Can you provide an overview of the Enabling Opportunities for Persons with Disabilities project and its objectives? Go ahead, Nadine Chambers Goss.
Yes, thank you so much, Stokely. And just listening even into your previous guest, the dietitian, Dr. Johnson, he raised some critical points, which also kind of relates to persons with disabilities, where he was focusing on persons with diabetes and the need to kind of moderate how they eat over the holidays. Because, when persons think of disabilities, they think it only happens to other people or it's something that you're born with, but that is not true. If you have diabetes, for example, and you don't manage it well, you could lose your sight partially, or you could become blind, or you could even lose a limb and become physically disabled. So, this project is really quite timely. We want to build the awareness levels of Jamaicans in terms of persons with disabilities. We worked with several partners to implement this EU fund, this European Union funded project. And those partners included the Caribbean Christian Center for the Deaf, the Abilities Foundation, and of course we also work closely with the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, helping them to kind of promote awareness of the recently passed and enacted regulations of the Disabilities Act in Jamaica. And we also worked with the Jamaica Association for Intellectual Disabilities. And what we focused on with each of these partners are critical activities that would have really helped to alleviate some of the stigma and some of the barriers that persons with disabilities face. For example, we ensured within the project that we provided vocational skills training so that persons with disability now could find a way to earn for themselves and their families, and so they have dignified work as well. So we at CCCD, we actually had 3 heart certified courses that were done, and these were tractor operation, because the school is actually a residential school, and so they have a huge property, I think over 70 acres, and they actually do farming. So with the tractor operation, they would be able now to till more of the soil for planting so they can properly feed themselves, and it's more sustainable for them. We also did baking at CCCD. where persons were exposed to commercial food preparation skills. And this is another way. So even beyond the program, the persons who would have participated in this training can do the baking at their home. They can sell them within their communities. They can work within organizations as well and gain meaningful
Hold that
employment.
thought 1 second. If you could hold that thought just 1 second, because
Sure.
we're a little bit past the break and we want to have Mr. McGregor on as well. But until after the break, listeners, please stay with us. We'll be right back on the Morning Watch.
Watch the trend, big up the trend, TREND. Big up the trend for education, teachers and the students. A fully bright future, yes, that are the new trend. Better governance, partner with the parents. Follow the big trend, elevate the youth them. Improve the school's job performance, access and attendance. From infant primary to university students. Turn up the skills training, full steam, we again. Follow the big trend.
This is Trend, Transforming Education for National Development, a program designed by the Ministry of Education and Youth to transform Jamaica's education system for a brighter tomorrow.
Scotiabank invites you to celebrate Christmas in the park. Enjoy a fun-filled evening of family entertainment on Thursday, December 7 at the Emancipation Park. Come see performances from talented young performers, including the Panoramium Steel Orchestra, Ashe, Voice Box, St. Andrew High School Choir, and more. Live on stage with the sensational gospel superstar Kevin Downswell.
You make me stronger.
That's Scotiabank Christmas in the Park on December 7, 2023. Gates open at 5 p.m. Admission free. Merry Christmas from Scotiabank with Cinco, Grace Kennedy, and Jablom.
Your health is your wealth, so come we start the conversation. Make we rise and immunize all across the nation. The ministry is giving us the motivation. With your infants' routine immunization. Protect the toddlers from all diseases. Tetanus, rubella, whooping cough, and the measles. Polymyelitis, mumps and the flu, plus tuberculosis, to name a few.
Rise to immunize. Eliminating diseases saves lives. Visit your nearest clinic or health center for more information or log on to www.moh.gov.jl.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness with support from USAID and PAHO.
Sebastian Braham Ministries present Christmas Jubilee, the Old Harbor edition, Friday, December 8th at the Old Harbor New Testament Church of God. Gates open 6:30 p.m., showtime 7 p.m., featuring Petra Kay, Sebastian Braham, O'Shane Mays, and many more. Tickets $2,000 pre-sold, $2,500 at the gate. Children under 12, $1,000. MC yours truly, Abigail Blair Black. Ticket outlets, Benson Pharmacy, Old Harbor, Genus Pharmacy, Portmore, St. Jacob Pharmacy, Spanish Town. It's Christmas Jubilee. Be there.
Let the numbers do the talking. Over the past 2 years, we have built over 160 houses, benefiting over 500 people in more than 48 constituencies through the new social housing program. You too can benefit. Simply visit your constituency office and fill out the application form. The Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. Building hope. Building Jamaica.
It's Christmas time again.
But it's Christmas time once more.
It's
not all about the turkey or the sorry, for sure.
He's the reason.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Stokeley Marshall. We are in the second watch. We're having an interesting Chambers, Gus and Sean McGregor. They are both of Rise Life Management. Nadine Chambers Goss is the Executive Director and Sean McGregor, Program Manager. The topic is Rise, Enabling Opportunities for Persons with Disabilities. Just before the break, Nadine Chambers Goss, you were responding to a question I had raised with you in terms of providing an overview of the project and its objectives. And to repeat, the project is in relation to Enabling Opportunities for Persons with Disabilities project. Now, do we have Mr. McGregor on now? Mr. McGregor, are you?
I am on. Can you hear me?
Hearing it loud and clear. Just before we come to you, sir, Nadine Chambers, Goss, if you could just conclude in terms of, giving an overview of the project.
Right, yes, okay. So just broadly now, the really main aims of the project were really to ensure the full integration of persons with disabilities into the society and to ensure that they have the proper care and support services that they need, and most importantly, that they are recognized and treated as valuable human resources. So I'll just share that.
There's so much more that we could go into there, but alas, only because of time. But Mr. McGregor, sir, are there any aspects, or are there any elements of, in terms of your role as program manager, anything specific about the program or programs that you'd like to highlight, sir?
Well, firstly, I got cut off, so I don't know if Nadine mentioned it, but this is a project that was funded by the European Union.
That was mentioned, yes.
Oh, that very good, very good. And I'm really pleased with the outcomes of the project. I mean, we exceeded our numbers in terms of the persons that we set out to train. For example, sign language training. It's an initiative called Sign Up JA, right, where we are looking to ensure that as many persons as possible are able to communicate with the deaf population. And so we did a sign language training. We targeted 100 persons from key government agencies and departments. We're talking about firefighters, we're talking about the police, talking about the court system, talking about the hospital system. And we had some private sector. We had a bank on I think NCB. And we actually ended up training 180 persons, right? And so I'm very pleased about that. That will go a far way.
When you say train 180 persons, you're training persons
in
who
Jamaican
do
Sign
not
Language.
have disabilities, or you're training persons with disabilities?
Yes, so we're training persons who do not have disabilities so that they are better able to communicate with persons with disabilities when they go to the bank, for example, when they go to the court, for example, when they go to the police station to report a possible crime, when there's a fire, for example. And so this is something that we picked up from the ground when we spoke, when we communicated in our research and so on with the deaf community, that it was a gap, that there were not enough persons competent enough to communicate in Jamaican Sign Language. And so this initiative, as a part of the EOPD, was aimed at bridging that gap and bringing up the number of persons, the cohort of persons who are able to communicate in Jamaican Sign Language. And so they are better able to help the deaf population when they seek services. And these are critical services. We're talking about the tax office, we're talking about hospitals, courts, and so on.
It's about providing more assistance or being able to better communicate, because it seems to be you're trying to bridge the gap in communication in terms of those who are hearing impaired versus those who are not. But what about other groups? For instance, those who are visually impaired versus those who are not, those who may have intellectual disabilities versus those who don't. Any projects or programs coming up in those areas, or that you may already have?
That's very good. Yeah, that's a very good question.
And
Because
of course, there's also the physical disabilities as well. But go ahead.
And so as a part of this project, we initially designed and launched a mass media campaign, right? Public education campaign, and that looked at all disabilities. There's an advertisement about the visually impaired. There's an advertisement about the hearing impaired. There are ads about the intellectual disabilities, and there are ads about the physical disabilities. And so we address all disabilities, right? While there were specific activities that targeted the deaf population. And we have already designed an initiative to build on the successes of this EOPD, and we are just awaiting funding. Whenever the funding opportunity comes, we will be rolling out phase 2 of this initiative, which will look at other areas. So we focus a lot on the deaf and the hearing impaired in this particular project, but in a next round, we will put a lot more focus on other areas of disabilities, right? But broadly, on the broad spectrum, we did cover all disabilities through the media campaign and through other initiatives, such as vocational skills training, in partnership with the Abilities Foundation, and as well with the Caribbean Christian Center for the Deaf.
Interesting. Now, Nadine Chambers-Goss, Mrs. Chambers-Goss, in terms of the project, how do you foresee its impact lasting even beyond its timeline?
Well, even in terms of the sign language training that Sean had mentioned, because what is important for us to have inclusion is that communication bridge. And so the fact that we were able to reach so many persons in these key areas, that's a start that will survive much, much longer than this project. Because once you have that skill, we now have that enabling environment where persons with disabilities, specifically those who are deaf or hard of hearing, can now have easier access to these critical services that they need. In terms of the vocational skills training, the knowledge that they would have gained from the different courses they pursued through our partners, that skill to be able to earn a living will stay with them way beyond the project as well. And even the awareness campaign, the awareness building campaign, getting persons to discuss it even more, making it more real to Jamaicans, that is something I think that will lead to an environment where we are more prepared as a society to really say we are being more socially and economically inclusive of persons with disabilities.
Yes, and I do see where it appears as if, both you, Mrs. Chambers, Goss, and Mr. McGregor, I do see where it appears as if family members who do not have these various disabilities are up and about more with their family members who may have one or others of them. There were times in the past when it appeared as if you hardly saw families out or family members out with these persons. I'm not saying it's a perfect situation, but you do see some signs where, those with the various disabilities of one form or shape or the other are out more socially with their family members who do not. Any comments on that, Mrs. Chambers Goss, followed by Mr. McGregor?
Sure, and as a society, we have come a long way in the sense that there was a time where families would hide their children if they had a disabilities to try and shield them from the wider public, thinking that it would reflect badly on them. But, I think persons are coming to a greater understanding that this is not something to be ashamed of, and that it is better if you can, because there are so many services, for example, that are offered through the JCPD that families or persons with disabilities can take advantage of to significantly improve their situation. So we actually need more of that. I know through one of our partners, for example, the Jamaica Association for the Deaf, who got a sub-grant through the project, they actually created a learning platform to provide content to parents of deaf children to help them parent even better, improve their parenting skills. And so, it's this kind of a positive attitude change that we really want to encourage through the project and that we want to see continue. So even your station, I heard the ad being played of the JCPD recognition of Disability Awareness Week. That is a critical part of this effort and this thrust.
Well, on behalf of Love 101 FM, we thank you for your commendation there. And for those listening, JCPD, it actually means Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities. For those listeners who may have wondered what you meant, Mrs. Chambers Goss, when you said JCPD a couple of times. Now, Mr. McGregor, any comments before we wrap as well? Because, you are handling programs for Rise Life Management in this regard. Any comments that you'd like to leave with us as well? I don't know if we have Mr. McGregor on. Are you still with us, sir? Were you muted?
Oh, no, I just got a message that unfortunately he's not hearing you so well.
I see. Well, Nadine, we'll try to have that resolved if it's something that we can resolve on our end. But Nadine Chambers, Goss, as you spoke in terms of, inclusion of family members who are not able in one way, shape, or form because they have some sort of disability with the other family members, it just sort of brings me to raise this with you. How can individuals and organizations get more involved or support ongoing efforts even more? Because you did indicate the media campaign, but what else can we do at a sort of individual level?
Thank you so much for that, Stokeley. So, there's a lot that can be done. A key part of it, we can start with something as basic as ensuring that your staff members or your team members are trained in Jamaican Sign Language. This is also something that we would also recommend at the school level, that it becomes a regular part of the curriculum. So as a society, our people grow up knowing how to communicate with persons who are deaf.
Thank you so much, Nadine Chambers. I wish we had a little bit more time, but I'm getting a signal But I want to thank you, Mrs. Chambers Goss and Mr. McGregor, for having been with us this morning. Very interesting. We probably need to have you back. Very interesting. So much to unpack, Mrs. Chambers Goss and Mr. McGregor. Thank you, listeners, for being with us. For information on how to get copies of the program, call our production department at 876-968-95967. This has been The Morning Watch. Thanks to our producer, Kathy Gale, and to our guests. Join Reverend Dr. Dallin Toussaint next week as he looks at other topical and controversial issues of the day. I am Stokeley Marshall, handing back Love in the Morning with Chakal.
We want to thank the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation for sponsoring the Morning Watch today. Also, Bashko, the store that gives you more.